Typical guy talk. I'm not going to pry.
Dan and Corey here, welcoming you into Libservative.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back.
Yeah, welcome in to another rousing rendition of Libservative, intellectual idiots fostering political and cultural literacy, the world's smartest podcast. Belter Body Snatcher, as always, on the ones and twos, and he, as always, is Corey Walsh.
He's Dan Griffin.
And we've got an action-packed show tonight because in case anybody needed a reminder, I'm pretty sure that we have named an episode this exact title before, but I had to do it again because we got to remind you. Americans love authoritarianism.
Yeah. Americans hate freedom. That's for damn sure, Dan.
How dare you say that about me, brother? I love my freedom. Trump.
Freedom is.
Trump loves freedom.
You sure about that?
That's exactly what we're going to get into here tonight. What else do we got on the docket before you do your housekeeping, Corey? We have some funny stuff to start with, including Jeff Bezos' boner dragging him into a deep hole outside of the Blue Origin ship. That was pretty good. Josh Shapiro's Pennsylvania governor's house was lit on fire. Lots of conspiracy theories coming out about that. But the thing that I want to talk about most is I'm happy Josh Shapiro's okay. I'm happy his family is okay. However, he decided to respond to this by scolding us all, as politicians do when things like this hit a little bit too close to home. JD Vance, he had an interesting couple of weeks. Bill Maher put aside his Trump derangement syndrome just for one night. But, I mean, I guess that's better than most. And then we've got Christie Noem invoking her fun little authoritarianism policy that isn't actually her policy, but it's certainly a policy she could stop. China halting rare earth mineral shipments, as if, you have to explain to people why tariffs are bad. Here we go. Trump's Pentagon budget is not exactly what Americans voted for. At least that's the way we were. At least that's what we were led to believe. Steve Witkoff's talks with Iran, Trump's latest deportation scandal, I guess you could say, and then we've got a few TikToks from Corey. So why don't you tell the people all the wonderful places they can find us, Corey, and we'll dive right in.
Libservative Podcast is found on all social media and podcast platforms. Our website is libservativeshow.com, and we can be found at Libservative on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, Instagram and Twitter at LibservativePod. Our TikTok videos can be found at Libservative Podcast, and you can reach out directly at libservativepod@gmail.com. The one, the only, Libservative.
And we must say that opinions heard on tonight's show are our own and not necessarily the opinions of Libservative. Corey, did you see JD Vance drop the trophy?
Yeah, I saw that.
Bell's got the video.
It's so funny because I looked right past JD Vance. It was just like, fuck Ohio State.
No, so my immediate thought was that it's a good thing that JD Vance is an Ohio State graduate and an Ohio State fan. Otherwise, Ryan Day might have cried foul. he would have whined about it, saying it was done on purpose, that it was disrespectful.
Yeah. You're right. They would have. Like if it was like a Gerald Ford. Or who went to University of Michigan? Gerald Ford. I know he's from Michigan. I don't know if he went.
Gerald Ford is actually from Nebraska. That's a common misconception.
He went to U of M, and he
went to U of M.
Oh no, wait.
Yeah, and he lived here, but he was born in Nebraska. I think that's true. I don't really care. It doesn't really matter.
Weird fucking fact that you know that.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm gonna have you look that up.
When you're a kid, you're like, were there any presidents born in my state? And so you look things up, you find Gerald Ford, and then you find out, I'm pretty sure he was actually born in Nebraska.
Yeah, I believe you. I just want Bell to look it up because it's just funny.
Before anybody gets their panties in a bunch, because, if you say anything mean about J.D. Vance or Donald Trump, they always have to talk about fake news, right? I know J.D. Vance didn't actually drop the trophy part, because I don't think anybody that's watching this realizes that this trophy is actually meant to be in two pieces. The black piece that falls on the ground is the stand that the trophy goes on. I don't think JD knew that either. Go ahead and roll the video, Bell. There he goes. He's picking up. He's trying to pick it up. Can't figure out where he's supposed to pick it up. Is there a handle on this thing? Whoa! Base falls on the ground. Wait, hold on. Ryan Day is going to come over and help, because that's his baby. Oh, yeah, Ryan Day wants to make sure the base. Oh, just make sure the trophy's okay. Here, we'll watch it one more time. Whoa! Oh, God!
Where's Ryan Day at? I don't even see him.
He pops in right here. Watch, he's going to come in stage right here. There he is. There's Ryan Day coming to check on his baby. Even the trophy knew that this was a Mickey Mouse national championship. Okay, go blue. You want to be the champ, you got to beat the champ.
I think it could be argued that Ohio State won the national championship because they lost to Michigan.
Yeah, there's some talk about conspiracy theories.
Oh, no. I don't think. No, I'm not talking about the game being staged or anything like that. It's just these kids, they were one of the first teams to drop tens of millions of dollars on a team. And they had a good fucking team. And then Michigan, at that time, what were they, 7-4?
Oh, no.
Or no, they were 7-5. They were 7-5, right?
It was such a bad season, I don't even remember or care. But it was all good after that.
They fucking came in and fucking just trounced them. There's literal footage as the whole team is just falling apart and they're trying to fight Michigan players. Ryan Day just standing there going, "What happened?" And I don't think he meant about that fight. I think he was still trying to ask that question about what just happened in the last 4 hours.
Did you see that somebody, I don't know who it was, maybe a Michigan donor or something like that, put a billboard up in Columbus. I think it said something like, if you want to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. And Ryan Day got his panties all in a bunch like he always does.
He said it was unprofessional, or something.
Disrespectful to a national champion.
Dude, you guys are over there crossing out M's on your campus with red tape. Get the fuck out of here. It's a rivalry, you little bitch. Crying Ryan. Yeah. That's what they call him. That's what I hear. I heard he cries.
That's it's a good way to put it. I was looking for our crying drop, but I wasn't able to find it. What happened to Selena Gomez in here, Corey? There she is. I thought I had some actual audio. Is it there? It's there.
I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't.
That was Ryan Day addressing his team. Anyway, not as
Come on now, you expect me to believe that?
Bell's got the video ready of Bezos's boner dragging him into a crater as he tried to get to his hot 50-something-year-old fiance after the Blue Origins thing landed. And it was you could tell by the way he's running around this ship that it was absolutely his boner. Bezos was a total passenger. He could not help himself. He had to see what was going on inside of this thing.
Did they go on an Amazon spacecraft?
Yeah, well, it was one of Bezos's Blue Origins things. Go ahead and roll it, Bell. Nobody can. There's not really any audio, but for those watching, you have to see this. He's just trying so hard. His boner is trying so hard to get to his hot girlfriend or hot fiance or whatever he is now. He's just he cannot wait to get inside this. Whoa! His face plants. I mean, to his credit, he got right back up. His boner must have broken his fall. It's the only thing I can think of.
They call him tripod. Hey, Dad, I get it. When I'm on the beach, I have to tuck my dick between my ass cheeks. Or else it's gonna burn on the. Bird on the hot stand.
The actual
Dude,
audio.
Bezos went down.
He did. He face planted. But his boner held him up. His boner cushioned his fall. Thank God.
I don't think it was a sexual thing, personally. I think that like it shows that he is still like for the shareholders and stuff, he's obviously out there and he's like, oh yeah, these things like
He's out there to collect his money.
Man. He's like, these things are fucking sound. I would take this into space. But anytime someone, like when his wife is out, he's like, please be alive, please be alive, please be alive.
For real.
Josh.
But yeah, isn't that like that whole thing, dude? And this is what is.
Are you gonna make fun of the fact that the flight took place in the first place? Because I'm totally on board for that.
At the risk of sounding like a misogynist. The idea of throwing a bunch of elitist people who happen to be women, but are elitists. There wasn't like it wasn't even like the Challenger, where there's jokes in there somewhere, but
There's got to be.
it wasn't even like it was the Challenger where they brought like a teacher and then trained her to be an astronaut.
We
and
have
she
to
had to
stay
be a part of
woke.
the team and do her job and stuff, right? It was just a bunch of rich assholes flying in space.
Yeah, who's on there? It was Gail King and Katy Perry and the woman who receives Jeff Bezos's boner, Lauren Sanchez. I don't know who else was in there. Doesn't matter.
But
By
yeah,
the way,
like
somebody-
I don't know. It's just
somebody
it, like,
pointed out.
like when Mark Twain talked about the Gilded Age, you know, back in like the 1900s, like we are literally there. We are back in the Gilded Age where it's all like brass and fucking wood, but there's just a thin coating of gold on it to make everything seem like it's the fucking best. And it's like, great, cool. We just sent a bunch of millionaires and billionaires into space, but you have to care about it because if you don't, you're a misogynist.
Yeah, mostly millionaires, because Bezos was the only billionaire, I think, in this whole deal.
Mhm.
Gail King did a whole thing on what show is she on? Even isn't she like CBS Mornings or something like that? She did like a whole thing about her. She did a whole thing about her training, and all she did was basically put on a seatbelt and then just listen to the noise.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like,
oh man, it's all right.
We have to
It's all
stay
good.
woke.
It's fun. Bezos can spend his money on whatever the hell he wants to spend it on. If he wants to send these women into space, that's good for Jeff Bezos. As long as the person receiving his boner doesn't get hurt in the entire thing. That's how you knew it was legit. That's how you knew nobody was going to die.
you are really fixated on this tripod of a man, huh? Does
I am.
is that
Maybe
even
you
a
go down
rumor?
on her,
Is he
dude.
like-
Don't be selfish. Don't be a sexist.
He's not walking around with a hammer, is he? You just assume it because he's rich.
Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, there are surgeries. He can afford them. He got ripped. Is he still ripped? I don't know. I haven't examined Jeff Bezos' body to any close degree in a long time. It's been a while.
Except for his penis.
That's where it all went to.
Dude, throw him in a turtleneck. He looks like a penis. What's that?
I was just gonna move on to Josh Shapiro's governor's mansion being set on fire. Which, by the way, can we talk about the fact that wasn't actually his house? It's the governor's mansion.
Yeah, but they were there.
I understand that. But people are like, somebody tried to burn down his house.
Let's not get too bogged in the mud with semantics. I could be in a tent if someone tries to set it on fire, and if I'm with my family, it's like, dude, they just literally tried to burn me down.
All right, Josh Shapiro's tent was lit on fire by some nutcase that scaled the wall and eluded police for something like an hour, which of course is, I don't know what the time frame was, but which of course is putting forth all sorts of conspiracy theories, like Paul Pelosi style conspiracy theories. I mean, a major difference being that the attacker didn't actually find Josh Shapiro and he wasn't nude or whatever the accusation was with Paul Pelosi. Nobody was hurt. That's why we can make jokes. Everybody calm down. Just chill out.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
If someone did get hurt, we probably would be making such light of this. It is a conspiracy,
So-
though, and it's interesting, right? Like, the leftists are supposed to be the extremists, but the last two, well, other than the one on Trump's life, the last two actual acts where like shit was done was that I could think of. Nope, never mind. As I'm thinking about it, it definitely goes back and forth. Because like
the
there was
suspect
Trump,
was
Kavanaugh,
38-year-old Corey
Pelosi.
Balmer from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And all I noticed was like the media narrative right after it really died off because there was no narrative to spin with this one. The liberal media was just praying it was a MAGA nutcase. Turns out that Corey Balmer, had a lot of fuck Trump stuff on his social media. He was a real dissident, a complete piece of shit because he was supposed to show up in court, I think this week on an assault charge for what was he doing? He was beating the shit out of here it is. He was due in court this week in an assault case where he was accused of punching two relatives and stepping on a child's already broken leg in 2023. So real winner, this Cody Balmer was. But the conservative media was just praying that it was like some anti-Semitic pro-Hamas lefty. And it just turns out that this guy was neither. So the story just died after like 48 hours. Nobody cared anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to talk about it. Early indications are that he was just nuts, an anti-government dissident. The anti-government dissident part, I don't really have an issue with. The stepping on a child's broken leg part and the trying to burn down Josh Shapiro's governor's mansion, I got a little bit of an issue with that part.
Yeah, I'm okay with
but
dissidents, but like have reason, damn it.
It's okay because Josh Shapiro is going to tell us everything that's wrong with us. Bell, go ahead and throw that video up there in his like first, I don't know if you call this a speech or address to media. Now, listen, I want to be very clear about this. I understand Josh Shapiro was just in a situation where his family could have been harmed. So like, I understand his emotional state, if you will, in this little speech. So I'm not going to shit on him for that, but I am going to shit on him a little bit for his message. Go ahead and roll it, Bell.
Lori and I are overwhelmed by the prayers and the messages of support that we've received from all across Pennsylvania and all across the United States. We've heard from our fellow governors and first spouses. We've heard from several of the former governors of Pennsylvania. We've heard from so many friends and loved ones. We've heard from so many caring citizens of this great Commonwealth. I want you all to know that your prayers lift us up. And in this moment of darkness, we are choosing to see light. We appreciate the light that you have shined upon us. Pennsylvania State Police, led by Colonel Christopher Paris, will brief on the specifics of what transpired. But we do know that this attack,
why they failed at protecting my ass.
We don't know the person's specific motive.
That is
yet,
wild.
but we do know a few truths. First, this
Here we
type
go.
of violence is not okay. This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay. And it has to stop. We have to be better than this. We have a responsibility to all be better.
Preach.
Second, if this individual was trying to deter me from doing my job as your governor, rest assured I will find a way to work even harder than I was just yesterday for the good people of Pennsylvania. Here's a third truth. If he was trying to terrorize our family, our friends, the Jewish community who joined us for a Passover Seder in that room last night. Hear me on this. We celebrated our faith last night proudly, and in a few hours, we will celebrate our second Seder of Passover again proudly. No one will deter me or my family or any Pennsylvanian from celebrating their faith openly and proudly.
So you might have been insinuating there that it may have been an anti-Semitic attack. I'm not really here to talk about that because we don't really know, honestly, what this guy's motive was yet, unless something came out like in the last 4 hours that I don't know about. But government officials scolding Americans about political violence is like a slumlord suing a tenant for falling down his broken stairs. You keep taking the money, promising you're going to fix things, and instead spend it on hookers and blow. Only for government, instead of hookers and blow, it's bankers and bombs. And then when it affects you personally, well, we all just have to be better, don't we? We all have to stop this violence.
Yeah, it's all of a sudden, I'm one of you guys.
I just don't. It honestly, it felt like he took at least the part about violence, part of that speech, from something that somebody said like directly after Trump got shot. You remember that? Every time there's like a political attack against a figure, it's always like, there's just no room for political violence in this country. I've said this more than once on this show. Political violence in this country, it's as American as apple pie. I'm not saying it's right. I don't think it's what we should be doing. It's not new. It's not. It's just not anything new. And I just get really grossed out when something like this happens to a political figure, when the hardship and the danger and the violence and whatever it is affects them personally as human beings, which I can not relate to. I've never had anything like that happen to me, but you can, what's the word I'm looking for? You can be empathetic to that, right? Like, yeah, I can understand. Like, he was probably scared out of his fucking mind when the cops banging down his door saying his goddamn house is on fire. I'm a human being. Josh Shapiro's a human being. I get that. But then, as the governor of Pennsylvania, or whoever it might be, president of the United States, a senator, a representative, you never want to have these conversations before the attack happens. You always want to have these conversations after your lives or the lives of your loved ones or both have been put in danger.
Yeah, it feels like fake, right? You know, like they don't have these conversations while they're happening, Dan, unless it affects their inner circle. There's just this illusion of safety under the grandeur of law and order that we all try to abide by, and then people in seats of power just expect us to. They do it because they tell us, and then we do it because the ultimate repercussion is an arm holding a gun. That's an extension of the government, and no matter how minute it is, even if it's a traffic ticket, the ultimate end, if you don't pay the money, it's a guy with an armed gun or an armed guy telling you that you got to go to jail or something. And these people that I feel like a lot of times, like, you have politicians and stuff, and all that stuff is a little hyperbolic and it sounds a little extreme, right? But all these people that are in these seats of power, they feel like they're untouchable. They feel like they essentially let the power go to their heads. And they feel like this stuff that is happening in the streets, like fire bombings and stuff like that, that's happening every single day in the inner cities and stuff like that, through gang wars and stuff, like, you know what I mean? It's the violence is happening every day, But when it happens to someone who's a billionaire or a governor or something like that, all of a sudden it's like, no, decorum must stay. It's all of a sudden, just think of the children, damn it. And everyone's clutching their pearls and stuff like that. It's because like these people are so out of touch and separated from common society that they think that
Children.
things that happen just because it couldn't even have been anything political. You could have literally just cut this guy off in traffic and didn't realize it.
It's the
You know what I
the-
mean?
it's
Like
the
it's
mayor.
it goes to know, like, and I think what you're basically trying to get to is it goes to and like why we kind of just like, oh, here we go. Like I get it, it's scary, but like his whole speech afterwards, right, with all of the police behind him, not there to show him support, but to show a show of force, essentially. The way they're all standing there, stone faced, just looking forward. Like he's showing, he's like, I got an army. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Mhm.
It goes to Noam Chomsky's worthy and unworthy victims in his book Manufactured Consent, that if it happens to one person that it's not supposed to happen to, then everyone freaks out. But when it happens to somebody that you kind of expect it to happen to, like a poor inner city, a gang war with a firebomb, and a family gets killed from a Molotov cocktail, that news article might be local. And
It's the
that
whole,
family,
if
that those human beings are just important as they are, objectively. But
it's
it's
like
the
Charlie-
facade of
Charlie
safety. It's
LaDuff.
the
Charlie LaDuff talks about this stuff a lot when it comes to our home city here of Detroit, where the murder numbers get completely fudged. Charlie knows more about this than me. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the murder numbers get completely fudged by the Detroit Police Department. But I rest assured, if Mayor Mike Duggan were harmed in any way at the Manoogian Mansion downtown, oh, you best believe they would catch that killer.
dude, the way our local politics are with Detroit and like the suburbs around it, it doesn't even have to be the mayor, dude. Take some white person from Bloomfield Hills and have them get harmed in the city. That's gonna make headlines in local news.
So it's almost like Nancy Grace's favorite thing. It's the missing white girl syndrome, right? Like if a white girl goes missing, Nancy Grace is flipping her cushion over and over again because she's so wet over the fact that this white girl went missing. But man, if I don't know, it doesn't even have to be like a poor black girl, but like if a poor white girl even from that grew up in the inner city goes missing, Nancy Grace isn't talking about it. Like, so it really does boil back down to it being a class issue more than a race issue when it comes to that. Because, if some, trailer trash white girl from West Virginia goes missing, Nancy Grace doesn't care. But if she's a pretty girl from Wicomiwok, Wisconsin, that grew up in a middle class, like an upper middle class family, she goes missing. Oh, Nancy Grace is just absolutely soaking wet over it.
Yeah, no, it is. It's not supposed to happen to them.
It's supposed to happen to the poor people, to the underprivileged, to the underclass.
Yeah.
But it happened to Josh Shapiro, so we got to stop the violence now, guys. Josh Shapiro's house got set on fire.
Right.
Time to stop
All
the
of a
violence
sudden,
now.
it's about decorum, right? When it affects their little safe space. So yeah, I get that. I get like the whole spare me your pearl clutching.
Oh. We talk about Bill Maher and his him putting his TDS aside for a nice dinner with President Donald Trump, which took place, I think, a couple weeks ago now. But Bill just recently on his show, was it this last week? I don't even know how often it runs. I don't watch it. What?
I'm sorry. Bro looks like he just woke up from a nap he took in 2012 and is still mad that his Reddit post didn't go viral. That Detroit hat is the only thing keeping his political takes from completely collapsing. He's giving strong barstool philosopher who cries during Rage Against the Machine songs energy. It's actually Pink Pony Club.
Well, he's talking about me. I'm the one wearing the Detroit hat.
I know. It's so funny because Bell's not on screen.
He's also wearing a Detroit hat.
He's also wearing a Detroit hat. And I looked down and I was like, oh shit, he's talking about Bell. And I was like, no, Bell's not on the screen.
I'm hurt. I'm so hurt. His hat is crisp. It's crisp. It's even got the postseason sticker on it. Oh, my feelings are hurt.
Funny.
I can't say I've ever cried during a Rage Against the Machine song, though.
No,
it's not really a cry.
I think I can name one Rage Against the Machine song, to be honest.
Yeah, because you have a weird taste in music.
Yeah, I'm kind of sporadic and all over the place. It literally reflects my ADD.
It does a little bit. I'll get you into it. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about.
Well, didn't they? I don't know. Didn't they sell out?
No,
that's what everyone says, right? Like, oh, the band.
Did they play some sort of did they play some sort of political show that didn't align with their politics? I don't know, like Green Day did. Remember when Green Day was like, I'm not a part of a mega America.
Straight out of the album Punk Goes Pop.
Let's talk about
Day plays an inauguration.
Let's talk about Bill Maher dumping his TDS for just 24 hours. It was longer than most. We'll give him that. We'll give him credit for that. Go ahead and roll the clip. I don't want to play the full 12-minute monologue, but I think
don't worry, Dan. He's trying to cook me too.
That's good.
Corey's got Tulsi Gabbard on the wall behind him, like it's a dorm room shrine. It's actually it's a studio. What's next to Joe Rogan is my spirit animal candle. What do you think that would smell, Dan? What do you think a Joe Rogan spirit animal candle would smell like?
Elk meat and elk meat, cigars, and buffalo trays. That's what it would smell like.
So what you're telling me is just your alcoholic uncle.
Yeah, more or less.
the one that shows up like, I got this deer.
My alcoholic uncle still
in my freezer.
My alcoholic uncle still watches fucking Sean Hannity. He doesn't even know who Joe Rogan is.
That Tulsi is actually like before she got a little wonky.
Go ahead and roll Bill Maher, Bell.
She did sign
at least
it.
Get him up on the screen.
So yeah, surprise possession.
Corey's boner carries him to that thing multiple times a day.
Like my Tulsi shrine.
Yeah. All right, go for it, Bell.
Remember exactly what we were talking about, but it must have been something with the 2020 election because I know he used the word lost. And I distinctly remember saying, wow, I never thought I'd hear you say that. He didn't get mad. He's much more self-aware than he lets on in public. Look, I get it. It doesn't matter who he is at a private dinner with a comedian. It matters who he is on the world stage. I'm just taking as a positive that this person exists because everything I've ever not liked about him was, I swear to God, absent, at least on this night with this guy. Bob, Kid Rock, told me the night before, he said, if you want to get a word in edgewise, you're going to have to cut him off. He'll just go on. Not at all. I've had so many conversations with prominent people who are much less connected, people who don't look you in the eye, people who don't really listen because they just want to get to their next thing, people whose response to things you say just doesn't track like, what? None of that with him. And he mostly steered the conversation to, what do you think about this? I know, your mind is blown, so's mine.
Okay.
There were so many moments when I hit him with a joke or contradicted something, and no problem. At dinner, he was asking me about the nuclear situation in Iran in a very genuine, hey, I think you're a smart guy, I want your opinion sort of way. And I said, well, obviously you're privy to things about it, I'm not, but for what it's worth, I thought the Obama deal was worth letting play out because we made Iran destroy 98% of the uranium, and they were 15 years away from a bomb. And then I said to him, but we got rid of that. You got rid of that. He didn't get mad or call me a left-wing lunatic. He took it in. I told him I thought parts of his plan for Gaza were wacky, but that I had supported him in the idea that Gaza could be Dubai instead of hell. I told him he was wrong when he tweeted the night before that I was critical of all things Trump. Not true. Check the tapes.
So
Before you
Bill.
go, I got to bring back
You got
in
something to say?
current thing because he's cooking. This sounds like this is basically what you were about to say.
Let's just bring him on the show.
Right. Bill Maher looks like if smugness grew a face and bought a suit from 2004. He refuses to stop wearing. He talks like he's the last free thinker on earth, but every take sounds like it was crowdsourced from divorced uncles at a wine bar.
I'd say bourbon bar, but other than that, I wouldn't make any changes to that comment. That's pretty much where that's pretty much spot on to where I find Bill Maher most of the time. But I want to just tell Bill to like slow down because you're literally saying everything that we have known and many others who dropped their TDS after like 2023, 2022 maybe knew, which is that Trump is a comedian and he plays a TV character. And it's almost like when you get in a room with
a caricature of himself.
He's a WWE wrestler. How many times do we have to say this? This is exactly what Donald Trump is. It's almost like if you get into a room with him, he's a semi-normal person. I mean, as semi-normal as like a billionaire could be, I would say. I'm not in the MAGA crowd, so I'm not the kind of person who thinks that like he understands me, right? He doesn't.
Right. He doesn't know shit about my life.
It's like I've said, if you're the kind of person that takes everything that Trump says and wants to clutch your pearls and throw a fit about it, you are an 8-year-old boy who doesn't understand that wrestling is fake yet. And I would say the same thing about somebody who's a Trump sycophant that hangs on every word that he says. You don't understand that wrestling is fake yet. You're an 8-year-old kid who doesn't understand wrestling is fake yet.
Yes, yeah, there you go.
It's like
dude, that's really funny, right? Like Trump detractors don't realize or are pissed because they don't realize the wrestling is wait, how do I want to say this? The mega supporters don't realize that wrestling is fake. Right.
Right.
So they're super excited about their hero, their favorite character.
Not everybody, because even MAGA itself is not like all one thing.
I'm not even gonna say liberal. I'm gonna say the Trump detractors know it's fake, but nobody listens to them and they get really, really, really upset about it.
They're just trying to tell you it's fake. Yeah. They're screaming at you, trying to tell you it's fake.
That's clunky. I need to figure that one out.
Yeah, that's okay. We don't have to revisit that. But like that doesn't mean that like Trump's foreign policy or domestic policy isn't also shit. But yeah, when he quote unquote owns the libs and says like Rosie O'Donnell is fat or something, I don't care. He's playing a TV character. I don't care about any of that. You want to talk about actual policy? You want to talk about like maybe bombing Iran. You want to talk about his Gaza policy. You want to talk about some of the good things. You want to talk about the fact that he wants to actually end the Ukraine war. You know, you want to talk about the fact that he, for better or worse, I don't agree with this policy, but you want to talk about the fact that he wants to bring manufacturing jobs back to America. I have my libertarian reasons for not agreeing with that. But like, that's at least like a virtuous policy, even if it's wrong. You know what I mean? And it also doesn't mean that, you know, trying to deport people who are here legally because they said a mean thing about Netanyahu's satellite dish ears or whatever it is doesn't mean that's not wrong and super authoritarian. But it's amazing to me the reasons for why people dislike Donald Trump are never the things that actually matter.
Right.
It's always
let's
like
talk about some homegrowns.
Yeah. You want to talk about that next?
Yeah, let's El Salvador's got to build 5 more prisons for the homegrowns in America that Trump wants to export. What a fucking oligarchical fucking crony capitalist fucking thing that like we're not even gonna send our prisoners to our own private prisons. We're gonna outsource that too.
Can I play devil's advocate here for just a moment because of what we just talked about? And Trump being a wrestling heel. So Bell's going to pull up the video of him talking to, I keep forgetting the guy's name. I don't have it in front of me. The leader of El Salvador and talking about how, yeah, he's going to send him the homegrowns next. You don't think Trump knew that camera was in that room? He always knows when there's a camera in the room.
He's also said it. Yeah, he does. But he also said it like in a couple interviews.
All right. I guess I don't.
And at this time, he has no no truth to me because like he was going to go after the, what did he say in the beginning? Just the violent criminals and like the really nasty ones, you know. And like so far, all the ones he's deported, like 90% or something like that, are non-violent. They're just here illegally.
And the fact that the mass deportations are not actually happening, like that's what he promised, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's also true too. Yeah, there's not even mass deportations. Did he secure the border? Sure, I'll give him that.
Yeah. Yep.
But
shut off the faucet. I had no issue with that.
Yeah, but like the mass deportations aren't really happening, and then all the ones he is getting rid of, it's like none of them are really like, I think, was it 90%, some number like that. But like a ridiculously high number of them are non-violent offenders, or there's no evidence of them being offenders.
Go ahead
and then mix in with that people just using their free speech.
Demanded the people wanted to change it, and they wanted. He demanded they love you. They love what you do. You know, I'm not your supporter. I want him to.
He looked right at the camera.
Homegrown criminals next. Yeah, I said homegrowns are next. The homegrown.
Yeah, he caught that the camera was on, so he boistered it out, but still
playing it up.
It's not big enough. No, yeah, come on. So this is a much different office than you demanded.
So is it a reason to be scared? I mean, sure, whatever. If that's the way you need to feel like you live your life. First of all, do I like the fact that a president is talking about deporting homegrown criminals to a foreign nation? I'm not a big fan of it, but again, it's Donald Trump. So you have to take that into consideration. And also, it's completely unconstitutional. Like there's absolutely no way.
No,
there's absolutely no way that could ever pass muster.
What's scary about his rhetoric is, like, how we always talk about the pendulum swinging back and forth between Democrats and Republicans. And the Democrats literally tried to start the Ministry of Disinformation, right?
Yeah.
Talking about,
again,
like,
Americans love authoritarianism.
And it got shot down. But here we have, the Democrats trying to repeal Section 230 because Trump started the whole kickoff of trying to repeal Section 230. Then Democrats tried to do it. It hasn't happened yet. Hopefully it doesn't. But now you have Trump, and now this is just anecdotal evidence. But under Trump's administration, I know someone here who lives in America who is married to someone who is from Canada, and America denied this person access to America from Canada on the border. We're in Metro Detroit, so the border is just literally like it's just a small bridge you just cross over
to the
south. She got denied access. Yeah, to the south. Yeah, Michigan's the only place you go south to get into Canada. Yeah, a little fun fact for you: you're not from Michigan.
Nobody cares.
Like north, south, who gives a hoot? Yeah, someone got denied access from coming into America based on propaganda they were sharing on their Facebook, and it's anecdotal. I know this person through my wife, through a coworker.
Oh shit, buddy! I gotta dig a little deeper.
The idea of somebody not being allowed in our country over just using words and from a country who doesn't have free speech, who, like, if it was seriously like dangerous speech, like like Canada's a country that actually locks people up for this type of shit, right? Like we talked about the trucker protests that were happening in Canada and people's bank accounts were getting frozen.
No, but I don't think anybody was locked up, but your point is still taken. Yes.
Right. like their accounts, but no, I mean like in Canada in general. I think Canada is pretty much right up there with like UK and Australia, like going after
Canadians
people into their houses
really
for
love
social media
authoritarianism.
posts. Right. But like, so this is a country who like has had direct attacks on just speech, and they're trying to come into the country who touts free speech, and they're not allowed in because of their words. That's fucked up. That's really fucked up. Like the First Amendment,
That's not a good look.
yeah, it's not a good look at all. I mean, like, America, like tourism to America has plummeted, and I know it's only 0.42% of our GDP, but like that's a fucking marginal number that can be the difference between growth and a recession.
It is. In fact, that's like right at the precipice of what is growth versus a recession.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just, you're seeing people, you know, like what was his name? Khalil Mahmood or whatever.
Mahmoud
I could
Khalil.
probably, I bet you if I heard his words word for word, and like and if he was like more privy to like some sort of fucking like Hamas, like if he's pro Hamas or whatever, like no, fuck Hamas. Hamas is a terrorist group, and regardless of whether or not it was propped up by Israel, it's a fucking terrorist group. I disagree with his words 100%, but that doesn't mean he gets the right to say them. The First Amendment protects the words you're not allowed to say.
That doesn't mean he doesn't get the right to say them, is what I think you meant to say.
Right. Yeah.
Little Freudian
The First
slip there.
Amendment protects. First Amendment protects the words you don't want to hear. You know, it creates a level playing field for everybody in a true free country. And going back to fucking Bukele and Trump with the homegrown thing, like that rhetoric is just opening the door for the next political party that gets put in charge. Because now, you know what I mean, like the ratchet effect. Now the goalpost isn't here, it's here. And
Well, that's the whole thing, right? So like anybody that wants Trump to deport people for, I don't know, whatever it is, being pro Hamas or being allegedly a gang member in South America, that's all well and good. This is why I titled the episode the way that I did. This is why I titled it Americans Love Authoritarianism, because you love the authoritarianism when your guy is or your party or whatever it is stomping down on the people that you don't like. But then what happens now when the people that you didn't vote for are coming after the people that you do like, right? It wasn't even that long ago. It was a couple years ago when there was all of this talk about the truckers, for example, being domestic terrorists because they were going up against the COVID lockdowns. Right? These are the same people that were like, that's ridiculous. They're coming after people for their free speech. Right? So you create laws that clamp down on speech or deport people for saying things that you don't like or having beliefs or ideas that you don't like. What happens when the other people get in power? See, Americans love authoritarianism when their person or their party is in power, and then they really, really hate it when the other team is in power. So like policies, this is what I wish people would understand. Policies don't leave the White House with Donald Trump.
Right.
The president leaves the White House.
Right.
But the policies stay.
Very good point. And then,
and
once
then they
the
get
policy's
weaponized
in
again.
place, you know, the discretion around it, the discretionary funds that fund it, all of that is still there for the next guy in charge to go, I'll just tinker with this a little bit. I'll just play with this.
Yeah. Don't need it. Christie Noem. Speaking of infringing on the Constitution, Christie, before Bell plays this video, I want to clarify something here. This is not a Christie Noem policy. This isn't even a Donald Trump policy. This is something that was in place, I think, since 2023. So this would have been a Biden administration policy, which should tell you why when it comes to things that actually matter instead of dumb shit on the fringes, both parties are essentially the same. Real ID is supposed to go into effect, I think, May 5th, right? So we're I think it's May 5th. We're just a few weeks away from this. You need this ID to fly. And that's kind of just where it starts, right? You need an ID to fly, and it's all in it's all under the guise of national security. And
yeah, so the real ID, the difference between a real ID and just a regular ID is the real ID is like directly connected to the federal government, right?
correct. It's a federal ID, and it's an infringement on states' rights. It's a violation of the 10th Amendment, in my view. I don't know if Christie Noem understands what she's advocating for here, considering, and I'll give Christie Noem this credit until the day that I die, she was absolutely the best COVID governor. There was nobody better than Christie Noem. Her
Better
state
than
was left.
DeSantis?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, because DeSantis locked.
Actually locked down, yeah.
It was just for a short period of time. Christie Noem never locked down her state. She
What state
understood.
wasn't she one of the Dakotas?
Yeah, was it North Dakota or South Dakota? I don't remember. Yeah, it was one of those two. But yeah, she was the best COVID governor. She was fantastic. I loved her COVID policy. But now she is going completely against that with this video that Bell's about to play. I will say, man, she does look good. She cleans up nice. She looks good for a politician. Let me just say that. She's
She
office
looks
hot.
good
Is
for
that
someone
fair?
who shoots dogs. Was it Christie Noem that shot the dog?
Yes. It was Christie Noem that shot the dog.
She looks great for a dog shooter.
She does. She's probably the hottest dog murderer in the world. She's got to be up there.
Hi, I'm Christie Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. If you plan on traveling, we need your help to prevent delays and to prove your identity. Get a real ID. Starting May 7th, you will need a real ID to travel by air or to visit federal buildings in the United States. These IDs keep our country safe because they help prevent fraud and they enhance security. Please do your part to protect our country. Go today and don't delay. To learn more, go to dhs.gov/real-ID. Thank you.
How do you know if you have a real ID?
You have to. If you don't know that you have one, then you don't have one, Corey.
Well, no. I mean, mine was issued in 2022. I got a little star on it. Is that what the real ID is?
I don't think so.
Star.
I don't
Like
know.
on here it says ID US A. Like,
why are you checking your ID while Christie Noem is trying to tell you something important?
because I want to be a good American, Dan.
No,
Like,
you don't.
Christie
No, you
Noem
don't.
just told me I need a real ID.
Well, don't listen to her right
I feel
now.
like
We have to
Michigan. I
stop
feel like
this.
real ID
This is
though,
bad.
was like a thing in Michigan a while ago. Like I feel
It
like
is. So okay. So that's
we're
so
a
okay. So
border
that's
state. I think we've had the real ID for a while.
no. So that's the point, right? Because a lot of people have made this point about, well, states already have this. It's like, yes, states have this. What this is a federal ID. This is what you do not want. Because they go, well, it's just for national security and to prevent fraud. And when they say national security, what they mean is their security,
More tabs on you.
the government's security. And right now it's just like, oh yeah, you just need it to fly. But it's like, it's just like the Patriot Act. And by the way, this is something that is a remnant of the Patriot Act. A real ID was originally in the Patriot Act. George W. Bush didn't put it in place. Barack Obama didn't put it in place. Trump 45 didn't put it in place. And then Joe Biden finally did. And and the Trump administration has a chance to put the kibosh on it because it, in my view, is unconstitutional. It's a violation of states' rights. It's a violation of the 10th Amendment. But you got Christie Noem out here, maybe just being too stupid to understand what she's actually advocating for, considering she was a fantastic COVID governor. It just doesn't make any fucking sense unless you realize that the people in power are all on the same team.
Just like any other politician, and in her state to get elected, the people there didn't want the federal government over encroaching on their state. So she was imposing states' rights and keeping her state open. But now that she's a part of the federal government under Trump and her state likes Trump, expanding the federal government is okay. Because why, Dan?
Because both parties are the same?
Because Americans love authoritarianism.
Oh, Oh, yeah. Well, both things are true. Americans do love authoritarianism as long as it's your people in charge. You're all for it.
Everybody's got daddy issues, Dan.
Then you start loving the Constitution again when the other party's in power.
There you go. That's what I'm going to start saying to people. That's what I'm going to start saying to people when they try to talk about how the government should be the one that like is an arbiter of truth or an arbiter of security or an arbiter of power, anything like that. I'm just going to be like, well, I guess we'll never agree because I don't have daddy issues.
That's right, man. The Real ID thing, it's a relic of the Patriot Act, which is one of the most, and there's no way to argue against this, one of the most liberty-sucking laws in our nation's history. And anytime that you hear that something is for national security, we know what that means. The security of the establishment and the government. It's not for your security. It's never for
Come on now, you expect me to believe that?
Hell yeah, brother. Very disappointed in Christie Noem for not slashing this thing. I'm going to avoid getting one for as long as I can. I don't want that. I don't want the government all up in me.
Ew, gross.
You want to talk about Trump's $1 trillion Pentagon budget?
Oh, God damn it. I do know that right now he is currently outspending the Biden administration. And that's with Doge.
So again, message to MAGA. I love you guys. I understand why you voted for Trump. I don't have an issue. I feel like I always have to give that caveat. I really don't. I understand why you didn't want to see the Democrats in power. I didn't either. I didn't vote for Trump, but I still get it. This is another one of those things that maybe some of you did vote for, but a majority of MAGA, based on tons and tons of polling numbers, based on what Trump himself touted in this past campaign. What did he tout, Corey? No new wars. No new wars. He talked about slashing the Pentagon, wanted to cut it in half. Now, he still says that, but in order to do that, apparently he has to boost the Pentagon's budget by $200 billion and have the first $1 trillion Pentagon. And you have this fucking coiffed back Fox News dipshit that I wanted to have faith in, but I don't anymore, in Pete Hegseth, just absolutely jizzing his pants over this. This man ran on isolationism. This man ran on no wars. He ran on trying to be the president of peace. He lied to you. And how do we know he lied to you? We're on the precipice of war with Iran at the behest of Israel, and he's increasing the Pentagon budget by $200 billion and having the first $1 trillion budget. It's so weird, dude. People in the administration are touting this like it's like the high score in a fucking video game. They're like, yeah, first $1 trillion Pentagon budget. Look at us. Woo! Yeah. I don't know if you have anything to add. That was it for me. He lied to you. He lied to you, and a lot of you don't care.
No, because the goalpost moves.
That's
because Doge, like you ask anyone about Doge, they don't know exactly what they did, but they made a lot of noise about saving the government money, even though most of it was overturned by the federal judges. And then that recent continuing resolution.
Oh, because there's a coup, Corey. Corey, there's a coup. There's a judicial coup against Trump. That's why.
The judicial coup. Did the Democrats call it a judicial coup when they were shooting Biden down? Well, no, they did. They said that there were a bunch of conservative judges.
They did. They did. Right? See how this works?
You did. You're right. You did. And
both parties are
now they're in love with Amy Coney Barrett, which is actually kind of funny. But
they won't admit it, but they're in love with Brett Kavanaugh too. They won't admit it.
Yeah. And
he went up the entire eastern seaboard, dotting the map with sexual assaults. Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Oh shit! But I gotta dig a little deeper.
But yeah, it's absolutely bonkers.
You have nothing to add. I think I said it all, didn't I?
No, you got it.
Steve Witkoff had his talks with Iran, basically tried to impose the Iran nuclear deal from 2015 under Barack Obama.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to bring that up. That's literally what they're pushing right now is the Iran nuclear deal.
And Bibi Netanyahu's asshole puckered so tight you could have shoved a lump of coal up there and made a diamond. And now it appears, at least as of a few hours ago, I actually had a tweet from Glenn Greenwald, if I can find it. I think I might have lost it. But here we go. Glenn Greenwald tweeted this about 9 hours ago. J.D. Vance leading the White House camp to avoid war with Iran and for another Iran deal with Steve Witkoff, Pete Hegseth, and Tucker Carlson. So I'll give Hegseth credit there. He's at least on the right side of this one. And the Iran Hawks are led by Marco Rubio, Mike Waltz, Lindsey Graham, Tom Cotton, and Mark Dubowitz. Is anybody surprised by any of those names?
Do you think it was Bill Maher that saved it? Because he told Trump that the Iran nuclear deal was the good deal?
I mean, it appears that there's a lot of infighting in there. And Pete Hegseth will just do whatever Trump wants. But like if that goes through, I'll give Trump points for that. Like this is the right move. This is the way to go.
I agree.
Every bit of intelligence that we have, this is public information, suggests that Iran is not trying to build a nuclear weapon. Like it's just
not trying to, they're not even doing what North Korea is doing. They never launched anything like that. I don't believe. I'm sure I would have heard about it somewhere in the news if they did. Because every time North Korea launches one, the whole world stops.
Let's just not do World War III. That's the side that I'm on. And reaching a 2015 style deal.
I got a 6-year-old boy that I don't want seeing have to go off to some bullshit war 10 years from now.
You don't want him to give his life for Israel?
No. Sorry. Does that make me anti-Semitic?
Well, yes, it does, Corey. In fact, it does. You should know this by now. You should know this.
Can you, shut up?
I just thought that was fantastic. And then you have, the pro-Israel crowd was absolutely melting down over this. Talking about how Steve Witkoff, he's a real estate mogul and he has, no foreign policy experience. And that was true up to a point. Let's not forget, and this is probably another reason why the pro-Israel crowd doesn't like Steve Witkoff, that Steve Witkoff was the guy that facilitated that original Israel-Gaza ceasefire prior to Trump getting in office. You remember that? How Trump was able to take credit for a ceasefire prior to actually becoming president of the United States? Dude, that was Steve Witkoff that did that. Steve Witkoff has been working on negotiations between Moscow and Washington, and he's finally gotten Moscow and Washington to actually talk to each other after we found out that Biden and Putin basically never spoke.
They never did. Isn't that fucked up?
Unreal. Absolutely unreal. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna go with the small track record that does exist for Steve Witkoff on this one. Not a fan of the Trump administration, but I'm gonna give them credit when they deserve it. And if we lower the temperature in the Middle East, for right now, I'm sure the can will just be kicked down the road as it always is in that region of the world. But you gotta give a little bit of credit, don't you? Am I wrong? Am I crazy? Should I hate Steve Witkoff?
No. When it comes to geopolitics, on that end of the spectrum of it not being about economics, but just about war. Any sort of move that keeps my kid from going to war, I'm happy with.
Well, good. Good talk.
Yeah. Belle's got a girl. You don't got kids.
I don't.
You don't it's actually something I think about. Fucking A, man. The trajectory on 10 years from now, are we going to be at war and my kid's going to have to send my kid off to war?
It's not the same, but I got friends like you that have kids. I got nieces and nephews. I understand it's not the same as being a parent, but there are children in my life that I care about that I do not want to see killed in a war, right? I understand it's not exactly the same. Matt Walsh would probably yell at me for even making that point.
That you don't that you don't have kids.
Yeah.
You're a real
man,
piece of shit in Matt Walsh's
I
eyes.
know I am a real piece of shit, and I'm really hurt by that. I really want Matt Walsh's approval, like badly. It's what I live for. It's what I live and die for. But yeah, the mental gymnastics of basically every topic we've talked about so far here tonight, Corey, and then we can get into your TikToks. The mental gymnastics that we had to go through over the last 4 years of Democrats.
Yeah.
I'm just going to talk about the last 4 years. The Biden administration, the mental gymnastics that we watched and the pretzels that we watched Democrats twist themselves into during the Biden administration about whatever it was, the Twitter files, whether it was, the federal government trying to coerce social media companies to censor, whether it was COVID lockdowns, whether it was vaccine mandates, whether it was multitudes of tax dollars going toward the Ukraine war and the pretzels that we watched Democrats twist themselves into. The fact that, the idea that we didn't have a president that was completely fucking demented for at least the last 3 years of his presidency. We just sit here and watch these Democrats twist themselves into pretzels and play all these mental gymnastics games to make it make sense to themselves in their own head and try to convince all the rest of us that, nothing to see here. Everything's cool. Everything's good. We love this kind of authoritarianism. And then we're just watching the same shit again. And I think that we warned people about this prior to the election.
Yeah, it's gross because like think of it this way, right? Your freedom, your personal liberty is just a chunk of clay. And you got two people on either side. And one person can either add clay to it or take a clay away from it on either side of it. And then the last 4 years, we saw, the Democrats on one side taking chunks of clay and the Republicans trying to stop and block their hands from doing it. And then everyone's like, oh, it's the Democrats that are taking freedom away from us, which, sure, that's fair. They did the Ministry of Disinformation. Give me a fucking break. Vaccine mandates. Come on, get out of here. And then all of a sudden, now the Republicans have power of the clay, and now they're trying to hurry up and claw and get a bunch of clay off there, and the Democrats are trying to stop them, and they're reaching in between their fingers and their hands, with shit like propaganda, trying
they were right. They were right.
Who the Republicans were? Oh, we just lost Dan. But yeah, so I'm at you and Bell. So, but like the Republicans, I guess they were right when that shit happened with All right, now I'm gone. No, I guess I'm still here.
we can still hear you. We can still hear you. I don't know where you are though.
But yeah, I don't know where I am.
There you are.
But yes, then the Republicans, like you said, they were right before you really left. They were right in regards of talking about the Democrats trying to infringe on people's constitutional rights. But then they threw all of their principles out the window on that same fucking platform as soon as they got power, because now they're doing it from the other end.
Yeah, it's almost like the policies don't leave the White House with the president. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
No? Yeah? Okay.
No, it's not. I guess it's not wild.
You got some TikToks for us, Corey? Unless you got something else.
I think what the biggest problem is, Dan, is we people don't like hearing bad news.
We got a lot of bad news.
We just have to figure out a better way to break news to people. So, Belle, if you pull up the first video, the one you expect me to believe that, Tim Robinson actually has a phenomenal idea of how exactly we should be dealing with giving people bad news. And in this video right here, he
Tim
just has a
Robinson's a
really good
G.
job on how he should do it. So, Bell, go ahead and play that video.
Roll it. Let's see it. I haven't seen this yet.
We have
excited.
less than 6 years to dramatically reduce fossil fuel emissions to keep warming below 1.5 degrees Celsius.
Hi, I'm Ted Rack, and I'm sick and tired of scientists telling us mean, bad facts about our world in confusing ways. So I have a show now where I have these folks come on and make them tell us their terrible message in a way that's easier to swallow. This is, come on now, you expect me to believe that? You expect me to believe that? I don't. No way.
Sounds like a great podcast.
No way. You expect me to believe that?
First up, I hooked him up with some new fashion.
Now, I've asked you to wear this funny shirt, so I'll be more receptive and less hostile to the stuff.
Is that the Billy Bob jersey from Varsity Blues?
It's a really funny shirt, and if I ever get bored, I can look down.
You expect me to believe that?
All right, let's focus
Sorry,
on
we have to
making
comment
your
a bit.
messaging
It
little
is!
more
It's the
appealing
Billy
to
Bob
someone
jersey.
Someone who, like, when I hear it, I get like a little mad because I don't understand it. And I get a little irritated because I don't know what you're talking about. So, like a normal guy, can you explain to me why I should care about climate change?
Okay, so the Earth exists in a delicate balance. It gets warmer because of the sun, and it has to cool itself off by emitting radiation to space. As humans, we've been burning fossil fuels, and that puts gases in the atmosphere that act like a heat-trapping blanket. The Earth can respond to that by warming up its temperatures and sending more heat out to space, coming back into balance. The problem is when it warms up, that leads to all kinds of consequences for us on the ground.
Speak.
Like
It's all about his
waves,
faces.
rain and floods and drought, ecological disruptions, all kinds of
It's
other
great for the
environmental
podcast audience.
I gotta be honest. What you're saying to me makes me want to fight you a little.
Come on, no way.
Your social media. It's so depressing. And it's freaky. Like, what the hell are you talking about? The Gulf Stream's gonna collapse? It's like, relax.
Well, yeah. So unfortunately, the Gulf Stream overturning current system is on pace to collapse, which hasn't happened in at least 12,000 years.
He pinches him. or push. Was he doing pushing his arm?
Yeah, he's pinching him.
Sorry about that. Why don't you try something fun, like a fun factor, an icebreaker, to help people in so they aren't just instantly pissed off at you. For me, my go-to fun fact is when I was a little baby, I was a smiley baby. Something like that, icebreaker, a fun fact.
So how much heat do you think is added to the atmosphere every day by burning fossil fuels?
20 pounds.
Okay, so it's about the same amount as 1 million Hiroshima bombs.
I'm gonna punch you.
No way. You expect me to believe that?
Just don't keep this stuff up here. If this is all you think about, you're gonna be in a bad mood all the time.
It's my job.
Yeah, I know. Sucks. All right, well, let me try and help you a little bit here. Why don't you tell me something you say in one of your speeches, and I'll fix it for you. I'll help you out.
We only have 6 years to reduce fossil fuel emissions to keep warming below 1.5 degrees Celsius.
That doesn't sound like a lot.
It's a catastrophic amount of warming when it happens over the whole planet and stays that way for a long time. It means melting of glaciers and ice sheets, changing forest cover, changing ocean circulation, currents to slow down, corals to bleach, trees to die, sea levels to rise.
Here's what you should say. Hey, everybody. You know your house? Your house is about to be part of the ocean. And all your pictures with you and your buddies.
This video was.
That's going to get wrecked.
You realize now.
Ocean
You're
water.
going to learn today.
And a shark could swim in there and eat a picture of your daddy. Fucked up. Fucked up stuff right there.
I'm glad you're concerned. I am too.
Try that. I got you a little something.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Painting with a Lamborghini. Yeah, of course, I couldn't tell what it is.
Yeah, cool. It's really cool. It broke the road.
And with that, I taught him everything I could. It's now up to him to save the world, because I've already saved my portion. This has been really fun. You're a good guy.
All right, guys, here's the deal. If we don't get global warming under control, we're going to have sharks on land. They're going to eat everything you love. Your signed baseball cards, your DVD collection, that yearbook where Christina Thompson wrote, you turn into a man.
I just thought it was like,
we need to preserve these things.
the way that Americans like really do have to have like news and anything like that broken down to them, like like this is the perfect representation.
Well, yeah, and it's like to care about the things that matter, right? Because like we always make fun of like the suburban white wine mom who's never met a black person bitching about racism in the South, right? And making fun of her. But like, so like to her in her life, that's obviously something that doesn't actually matter. She just gets to make herself feel better by complaining about it. Like the things that actually do matter, like, hey, this is why war in Iran is really fucking bad. It has to be broken down similar to this, because I guarantee you that that wine mom in the suburbs that bitches about racism in the South when she's never been there or met a black person probably in her life, she does not care about Iran or even probably know that there's a chance that we could go to war with them in the coming weeks. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes my head hurt and it frustrates me, just like it did in the video.
I really want to punch you right now. Yeah, no, it's just yeah, it's funny to me. Like when I saw that, it was just like, oh wow, that was hardcore Biden defenders the last 4 years, and that is current Trump supporters the last 4 months. Like,
it's all the
don't
same.
You dare interrupt.
You just imagine like every
life today.
It's like every time like somebody smart that like knows what they're actually talking about tells you the reality of like any sort of foreign policy, and you just pinch their arm because you don't want to hear
I don't want to hear this.
just pinch them. Like,
so the next one,
Trump's actually as big of an authoritarian as Biden was now, and they just pinch you instead of just against it. Honestly, that would probably be better than what most people do, because they never engage with the argument. They just straw man you like Democrats did for 4 years. Trump people are doing the same thing now.
100%.
As if we couldn't have called that.
Right, because Americans love authoritarianism. There's a theme to the episode tonight.
Oh, interesting show. Americans.
So go ahead and pull that next one up, Belle. It's Did you guys see Katy Perry kissing the ground after being in space for like 30 minutes?
Oh my God. Yeah. Like she was on a fucking raft in the middle of the ocean for 6 months and finally made it back to dry land.
So here's Katy Perry back on Earth. Oh, it was the first one. I don't know what happened there.
Or was she kissing the ground because she was trying to get away from Bezos' boner?
It was the first one, Belle. Here we go. That's not it. That's not it.
That's not it.
The video.
What's the
That is not the video that I should. There it is.
There it is. Katie back on Earth. Here we go.
I'm on Earth. Yeah, I'll take 2. Sorry. I'll take 2 hamburgers. This keeps happening. It's heavy here. It's so heavy. Everything's so heavy here. Oh, right. It doesn't float here. How do you drink this? No, don't leave the spaceship. You'll die. Or the house. Wait, where am I? Is anyone green here?
Did you see? I saw somebody on Twitter pointing out the fact that like the module that they flew in and they landed in looks like a garden, like a Japanese garden shed. And then I pulled up a Japanese garden shed and it looks just like one of those.
That's really funny. So the next one, it has a little bit of a sort of like not necessarily affluent feel to it, but like a little bit of privilege because like being able to say this versus like other people literally fighting for their livelihood in our country right now based on bullshit is like bullshit. When I say bullshit, I mean based on what the current administration is doing. That there's people's lives are actually being affected, and people like us are kind of like not being personally affected yet. But it's this is like I feel like this is basically our whole show summed up in like 30 seconds. So go ahead and share that one.
We have to collab with this TikToker then, I think, eh? Isn't that what we're supposed to do next? Isn't that what the kids do these days?
For the most part, yeah.
I like that shirt. I would wear shit out of that.
Oh no, the tariffs. Did you see what Poo-Poo said about PP? Oh, I can't believe Poo-Poo would do that. Oh, whole time it's something like Poo-Poo would absolutely do and has been doing for years. 12, like, shut up. Shut the fuck up, okay? None of that matters. Stop giving Poo-Poo attention, all right? This is what matters, okay? Right here. The sun in my apartment. The strip of sun coming in my apartment. This is what matters. The little things the universe and Mother Nature gives us every day to just be in awe of. Okay?
This is just Corey.
Go outside. Look at a tree and just really
after a
look at it.
mushroom
Just
trip.
look how big it is. How are we not just in awe of these things? But we're too busy. Oh, fuck you. Oh, why did you say that? Why did you say You're going to die You're going to die.
It's like 90% of our comments. Fuck you.
Get outside, nerd. Get out. Go. I ain't got time to be distracted by your worthless chime-ins. Go on.
Nerd. And then actually need to play the laws one. But then the very last one. LOL, because it's how I am. I figured I'd share this one with you guys because this is literally.
Well, you're going to share this one. You didn't
No,
trust
Bell
Bell
can
with
share
this
it.
one. It was too important.
No, I trust him. I'm saying I'm sharing this through you
I
arbitrarily.
trust it with my life. The three of us entered this foxhole together. We're getting out together, brother.
Not that one.
Just believe that.
The last one.
Bell's our artillery man. I saw it's a picture of Hank Hill's belly.
Yeah. It's a good one, but like at this point, I'm sharing funny ones. We're not going to share that
You
one.
trust him, don't you? You trust Bell, don't you?
You trust your mother every night to fix your hot pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned on.
Yes, I do trust Bell every night to make sure that he cooks my hot pockets and that my Game Boy is plugged in.
Turned on. Come on. You don't want to
Turned
leave it on
on.
too long. Batteries run out. Game Boys aren't rechargeable, kids. Well, they might be now.
Cancel me all you want. I don't think you should be on this freaking darn game if you don't have a microphone. You can cancel me for that. I don't care. It's just my opinion. Go ahead and cancel me.
No one gives a No one said we was canceling you.
If you don't have a microphone, you shouldn't be playing the game in the first place. That's just my opinion. Go ahead and cancel me. I don't care.
Yo, Turtle, shut the up.
Just an opinion. You think I care if I get canceled over an opinion that simple? I don't.
Dude, we get it. Please, Turtle, shut the up. Jesus Christ.
It's a video game video for those just listening.
Stupid opinion.
Bro,
No one said they were gonna
about it.
Yeah, why cancel someone for their stupid opinions? It's simple.
Oh my
I don't care.
No one said they were gonna cancel you.
Oh, are you okay?
Why don't you drop it? Let me have my opinions.
You're the one that's not fucking dropping it.
Well, I'm not the one that has a problem with it.
Just shut
It's so funny though because like
They're just feeding into it.
Christ. I get it, your opinion. All right, I understand. Good for you.
So why cancel someone for just a simple opinion they have?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Dan, it's kind of there's points on our show where you're like, I'm probably gonna get canceled for this. But it's like nobody
Canceling isn't a
fucking
thing
cares.
though now. It's Trump's
No,
America.
right.
I don't say that.
Yeah, you don't get canceled anymore. But like, I don't know. One of our biggest listeners, Ready Player Jay, me and him are on there all the time, like correcting people when they say God and be like, actually, it's Jad. Like, just saying dumb shit like that to people and just making people. It's
What?
so easy. To
Okay,
make
so
people angry.
I'm not as. I mean, I don't think you're like the gameriest of gamers, like, but you're certainly more of a gamer than I am. What is it about being able to troll people in these video games? Like, because we see video games we see videos like this all the time. You share them with me. I find them myself. I'm not in these rooms playing these video games like you damn kids. But like, it just seems so easy.
Oh yeah, it's super easy.
Why is it so easy?
You just act like you're sure of yourself, and everyone thinks they can dog shit on you for the way you're acting. But it's like, no, I'm the one
Joke's on
dog
you.
shitting on you, and that's the troll,
Joke.
right? Once the troll's
Fair enough.
exposed, like if someone came in and goes, "Guys, stop! He's trolling," that would end it. But it's like, I don't know. It's
Well,
just so.
as we know,
funny.
I mean, I'm not like a 4chan expert, but like, aren't gamers like the original trolls?
For the most part, yeah, we were always all trolling each other.
Gamergate and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, misogynist.
Just go ahead and cancel me. It's just for a stupid opinion.
Oh, fuck yourself.
Don't get bogged down by all the haters out there.
That's all I got, Dan.
We have not had George Santos news in quite a long time. I haven't been keeping up on his podcast. I'm really disappointed in myself.
That's your own damn fault.
Because he's my favorite political figure of all time. And I don't know that anybody's going to be able to unseat him. I really don't. I don't know who's going to do it. Entertainment-wise, I mean,
Cawthorn is up there.
Green. Yeah, but he's kind of fallen away.
He was a
Marjorie
flash in
Taylor
the
Greene.
pan.
Marjorie Taylor Greene entertains me a little bit, but like the difference between Marjorie Taylor Greene and George Santos is that like I genuinely believe that Marjorie Taylor Greene is a fucking moron. I actually think George Santos is a goddamn genius. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. It takes wit, charisma, and an IQ to be a con man.
And Marjorie Taylor Greene just like screams at foreign reporters for being foreign. Like that's like
Right?
her whole shtick.
That should be a topic on the show. We could talk about the difference between a con man and a grifter.
Yeah, and I mean, don't the American people as well? Like I know I do. Isn't there so much more respect for a con man than a grifter? I have respect for a con man.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, a con man like has to put the work in, right? And like
there's
make a whole plot. Like movies like Ocean's 11 are attributed to a con man. Movies like Grifter are that attributed to like a grifter is like Kingpin.
But Kingpin's a great film.
It's a great film. I'm not knocking the film. I'm not knocking the film at all.
We were very concise tonight, boys. I'm very proud of us. We're only an hour and a half in, and I think we got through everything.
Look at us go.
Look at us fucking go. Why don't you tell the people where they can find us, Corey? I didn't even have to pee tonight. I have to pee now, but we're ending the show. Go for it.
Libservative Podcast is found on all social media and podcast platforms. Our website is libservativeshow.com. We can be found at Libservative on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Instagram and Twitter at LibservativePod. Our TikTok videos can be found at Libservative Podcast, and you can reach out directly at libservativepod@gmail.com. Subscribe today.
I really don't know what he
Thanks
said
for
at
everyone
the
that
end of
come and
this.
hung out.
I don't think he knows what he said either.
The only problem is I can't understand
Thanks
the
for
word
everyone
you're
for
saying.
coming and hanging out. And for everyone who hasn't
Go
touched grass in a
outside,
minute,
nerd. Get out. Go. I ain't got
That's
time to be
right.
distracted by your worthless chime-ins. Go on.
And again, all of the opinions expressed on this show are our own and not necessarily the opinions of Libservative. Bell the Body Snatcher on the ones and twos. He has been Corey Walsh.
he's Dan Griffin.
It's been Libservative. Intellectual idiots fostering political and cultural literacy and the world's smartest podcast. And until next
You
time,
have white privilege.
and we are out of here.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. Somebody must lead, or else the fight would not be made at all.